So Jonathan, in an interlock business, obviously having your crew have the mindset to really help and provide service and do the work properly is not an easy task. So how do you deal with that? That's coming up next on the DORE Podcast. Welcome back to the DORE Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Dore, and today we're diving into the world of interlock repair and professional landscaping with a guest who's been shaking up the industry since he was just 17 years old. So I guess 6 months ago?
Pretty much, yeah.
I know you from, you're a YouTube star.
A little bit, not too much.
So joining me today is Jonathan Gilman, the founder of Ottawa Interlock Repair. Over the last decade, Jonathan has built a reputation for exceptional customer service, systems that keeps projects running smoothly, and a drive to make trades more professional and sustainable. So with a 4.9 star rating in an interlock business, that's pretty impressive, and more than 150 reviews, so it's very credible. Didn't that just your mom and your aunt?
No.
So his company has become more of a trusted, one of the most trusted names in interlock repair in the Ottawa area. So Jonathan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's funny when I saw you, I'm like, oh, you're the guy I see on the ads on YouTube. So you're targeting me as an avatar client.
Yeah, you were exactly the right age and income bracket.
I'm a bit old. No, that's great. No, I'm really happy to hear to have you come on. And Rochelle, when she was doing the initial discussion with you, she was like, "You're gonna enjoy this one." Obviously, this guy has the experience and all that. And when I saw him, I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, I know him." So that's great. So Jonathan, tell us about the journey. I mean, you started. We say here, 17 years old, a decade later. So obviously, this is not your first rodeo. How did this get started, and bring us up to speed, because starting a business is not an easy thing to do, and interlock obviously is not for everybody. So tell us how you got started.
Sure. We got started when I was 17, so I think that was about 13 years ago. I'm 30 now.
Mm-hmm.
Simple math. For a couple years before that, I was working landscaping with other companies and under older guys who really knew what they were doing. So by 2 years, I could do basically every simple task there was to do. I had always wanted to start my own business of some sort, and so when I was 17, I just was like, I can buy a rake and go rake this guy's lawn, and that was my first job. This guy asked me to rake the dead grass off his lawn, and so I bought a rake. The amount of the job that paid for the rake, and then someone said, "Hey, can you mow my lawn?" I was like, "Okay, well, I'll go get a lawnmower," and then kept going just like that. I would buy. Someone would say, "Can you cut down some trees?" I'd say, "Now is my time to get a chainsaw." Built it up slowly. A few years in, I realized that there was a kind of hole in the market for a couple things. One being interlock repair. So we were doing other people's repairs, other contractors' repairs, and they didn't want to do them themselves.
So you're subbed out through other contractors.
Yeah, and we got really good at it because it's really annoying for a lot of people trying to match patterns and old blocks and things. And we were getting really good at it, so I said, we could do it ourselves. I think we charged 3 times the rate that we were being billed out at when we made that switch. And then the other one that I saw was that landscapers don't call people back. And there's no customer service really, especially among smaller landscapers. But even larger contractors, I called one guy up who's a big name in landscaping, and he's still answering the phone himself.
Right.
So if he's too busy to talk to you, you don't get anybody. It all goes straight to his cell phone, and he's got.
And when did you realize that?
All these screws.
Because that's a critical part of business, especially in any trades. But yeah,
it was when I started dropping the ball.
Okay.
That I thought I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't let it go by for weeks. And so I hired a remote administrator back before anybody did remote administrators.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just thought, what would be good is if someone could just answer the phone a couple hours a day for me.
Right.
And we just had one policy, which is you call everyone back within 1 day. That's the same policy we have now, is that you just call, that's all you have to do. Call everyone back within 1 day. If it's a complaint, if it's a sale, if it's anything, you call them back within 1 day. That was that, and repairs and restorations, that's basically the core.
Yeah.
Right there.
So that's because there's a big difference between going on site and doing an interlock repair and answering a call for opportunities, quotes, questions, complaints, whichever. There's a big difference. And for you to realize that, so that's why I'm curious, like you learned that when you started dropping the ball, when you were doing it on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's two different, there's some companies that are great on site and there's some companies that are great on the phone. But doing both of them is very difficult.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, because that's a crucial part, obviously. And so how does that look like today? Is that you still have somebody doing that?
Still have a remote administrator.
Okay.
Because, and I tell this to people, friends of mine, they say, can you come give me a quote? And I'll say, here, call this number. She's going to send someone to give you an estimate. It's not going to be me, because if you get me to do it in my spare time, it will never happen. Follow the system and you'll get an answer within 1 day for your quote. When the guy gives you your quote, you'll get a quote within 1 day. And then when you pay your deposit, you'll get a booking date within 1 day. And it just goes down the line that way.
Nice.
So
nice.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, no, it's, as you say, it's all you got to do. But some people, like you said, have been in the business for a long period of time. They can be very good at doing the work, but they don't do these pieces, which are crucial.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because there's a system involved in doing that. So somebody remotely answers and I'm assuming it's calls or emails or whichever.
Or webs,
Right.
web forms or Instagram messages or whatever happens.
Okay. And then from there, so you mentioned that somebody else, if they want a quote, somebody else is going on site. So you're not doing that as well. So you've got a system or a person that actually does that.
Yep.
That works directly for you, or?
Yep, directly for me.
Okay.
That was one of the other first things I realized, which was I can't get to enough quotes and make sure the jobs are going well.
Right.
So we need a sales guy.
Good for you.
So that's kind of how,
No, but that's
started,
I'm sorry. I've been in business for many, and I listen to that, and it's so crucial because you say it nonchalantly, but it's fun that you were able to realize that early and get those systems in place, because you can't do everything, and if you do everything, then there's only so much you can do, or else service suffers. So you seem to have figured that out fairly early. So good for you.
And I learned all these different estimating tactics when I was starting out, and everyone said, don't do by the square foot. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to figure out all the different costs and build every estimate from scratch. And then I quickly realized that you can't do that.
There's a reason why.
People. So I just changed everything to square foot, and some it's a little too much, some it's a little too low.
Yeah.
But it all works out, and there's ways to multipliers and reducers to make, if a job's easier or harder, you can check different boxes.
And you track sorry, I'm going to go into the weeds on this because I really appreciate that. Do you track your lead source and turnaround time, and
we try to track we track a lot.
Yeah.
Lead source is hard because a lot of people will say, I Googled you.
Right.
And then later on they say, oh yeah, you did work for my friend, and then I Googled you. And you say, okay, well that's a word of mouth.
Right.
Or I saw you on YouTube, and then I thought about you, and then I saw you on Instagram, and then I Googled you. And if they're all saying Google, and you're like, no, that's...
Right, because you're trying to get to figure out what's working. Yeah, and they're just, And I appreciate that. That's why sometimes tracking data for lead generation is not always that simple. So
what works for we have a form, and they mostly just go into they Googled us.
And you track conversions as well from quotes and all that, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a very passionate marketer. As you know from seeing me on YouTube and
I think that, listen, I have to say the YouTube videos, there's a hint of humor in all of them. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's good to laugh at yourself and to know it's not that serious.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's very serious.
Yeah, because you go to bed with rocks and you eat rocks. Or...
Yeah, that's one of the videos. Yeah, we eat interlock for breakfast or whatever you want to say.
But you say I remember.
Yeah, you remember I didn't even remind you about the going to bed with the blocks.
Yeah. I think that was one of the last ones I've seen. So, that's great.
It's a popular one. But with the lead tracking and all that stuff, is figuring out our closing rate, our average job size, and then we just extrapolate. Okay, so if we need 300 jobs and we have 33% close rate, or it's 30%. We need 1,000. You go see 1,000 customers.
Right.
That's how I build everything, and I'm planning for next year right now. And then I look at how many estimates can my estimator do a day and a week, and okay, I need another estimator then, so I have 2 now, and it's at different. For figuring all those things out is.
And how does that look like for you? Like how many? Like so you just one person doing virtual taking of the leads, and then estimators. How many estimators do you have?
This summer we had 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 full-time.
Yeah. So I had one what I call a sales manager, and then one sales intern. He worked for me for a couple of years, and he's business minded in a business program, and so he did 4 months of sales.
Okay, yeah. Good for you.
But I really make sure people have an understanding of Interlock, because I design our estimate appointment to be like a consultation. You want to be providing value right then and there, and that's one of our only 1-star reviews was not from a customer, it was from a consultation where our sales manager explained, like this, if we do this is going to be actually quite bad for your project. It's not going to go well. You're going to regret doing it. You should try this method instead. And they said, no, we want to do it this way, which is against best practices. So he said, okay, well, I don't think you should work with us then. And that's, I think, one of our only 1-star reviews, because we always want to be providing value through explaining how things work. I always ask, are you going to sell your home soon? How long are you going to be here? How much do you want to invest? Because we can give you the bronze, silver, gold star type service. What are you looking for? Oh, there's a wedding here in 2 weeks. Your daughter's getting married in the backyard. Okay, let's make sure there's nowhere a high heel can catch or something. Versus someone's just like, I hate these weeds. I just want the weeds gone. I don't care about the levels. I don't care about the grading. I just want weeds gone. I want to find all that out. And so I had a sales guy once who wasn't experienced. He was very experienced in construction, works for a very large construction company in estimating, and was helping him out part-time, but he had no repair experience. And he would always recommend the wrong solution, so I couldn't have him keep working with us. So that's why I insist that you have a couple of years of Interlock experience under your belt before you start.
Yeah.
Because you want to make sure you're giving good advice.
And what does the crew look like now? How many crews do you have working?
Yeah, so this year, we're talking about systems and different things. We moved away from hourly wages, and we moved away from larger crews. We now work in pairs, and I'll sometimes double up pairs if I have to. But each pair gets paid via like a piecework performance system, where each job has a payout associated with it, and they do the job and they get paid. And if there's anything wrong with it, they fix it. And they own that job, it's theirs. I never give them more or less unless there's a change order, and then that's all tracked and given the same, or unless I screw up.
Yeah.
So that's we have, summer's always busier. Fall we have 3 crews, summer we have 4. Next year we're probably going to go to 5.
Okay.
So last year we had 3 crews of 4. And we actually have, that's 12 people.
3 crews of 4, okay.
Now, this year was 4 crews of 2, and we made more money with those pairs.
Okay.
With the performance bonus system in place. Switching them away from the hourly wage.
Yeah.
Because with tracking, I realized all my best jobs are where I have to pay people almost nothing and make a lot of money. That should be the best for both of us. That the guys who did a really good job should get more because they did a good job. And then the jobs that go terribly, they pay them so much money to do that, and I don't get anything.
Right.
So why am I suffering on the bad jobs and they're not getting anything on the good jobs? So went through hundreds of jobs data and figured out the right percentages to give them of the different projects. And so sometimes people will say, this isn't worth that much. And I'll say, you know what this guy's making an hour? It's crazy.
Yep.
When you extrapolate it back and show them how much money they make, like I pay my guys better than anyone else in the whole industry that I know of.
So the tracking, I find that's super interesting. Like you and I, like I love that stuff. because that can apply to any business.
Yep.
But that tracking system, like, was that done manually, or do you have a CRM? Like, how did you come up with that, or is it just a gut and you're like, I have to go through the jobs and try to get a sense of profitability per job? Or
we have a CRM that lets them sign into each job and bill their hours to each job. And then I invented a system with different like numbers and ratios and things that you plug in their hours, and you plug in who it is. So like the foreman is billed higher and he gets a larger percentage of the overall payout. So yeah, it's a CRM does the tracking.
Okay.
My admin does a lot of editing because guys will forget to clock out and say they logged 24 hours on a job in a 24-hour day. Yeah. Which is impossible. Yeah. And then so she edits that all up, puts it all in the tracking system, and I'll review and make sure it all checks out. And they get extra for material efficiency. And if they decide to use say like they want to rent a machine or something, that's billed to them. But then they'll probably make more money per hour per day, etc. Yeah, so that, you do a 4-day job in 2 days because you rented the right machine. Here, get an extra few $100s a day, and that goes straight to them. But if they didn't need it at all and they do that, then hey man, that didn't save you any time. That actually cost you extra, so you get dinged for that. Yeah. So you save sand, you don't waste stuff, because that's what people will buy a ton of extra materials. It's like, okay, well it's the boss's fault. Hey, you want to save $400? You can save $400 and you keep a portion of that.
That's interesting. So it incentivizes them to look out for your clients and yourselves' best interest.
And the other catch is that if they make a mistake, if they make a mess or something, and the customer wants them back, they have to go do that, and it's no extra. That they don't get anything extra for that. Right. So they have to be motivated to finish everything right on time, like really nicely. Because I had problems with people doing walkthroughs or not doing walkthroughs. So I'm like, hey guys, if you do a walkthrough, if you explain everything to the customer is happy and doesn't call us back, then you don't have to go back, and you don't have to take time out of your next day where you're trying to make more money to go back there. And so that's been very interesting to see the difference in personality. The guys who
and is it the same guys that like, or do you have to bring new people? Because sometimes you can't change mentality.
They didn't want to.
Okay.
I said we tried it last year for 2 months. I said, we're doing this. Yeah. They all said no, and I said, no, we're doing this. Yeah. I'll pay you. I'll guarantee you this much money, and if you do better, you get more. And they all did way better and said, okay, we're good. We'll take the 20, 30, 40. One guy went from, I think he doubled his wage this year.
Wow.
Just because he was so much more productive. So
the incentive was just sold in a different way. And then all of a sudden it aligns with your objectives. Yeah. Good for you. Good for you to realize that, actually. Yeah.
Well, it was scary because if it wasn't going to work and they all just quit, and then I had guaranteed them their wages or whatever.
Yeah, that would suck.
And there's a lot of unknowns, and I'm learning new things through doing this for the whole year now. This is our second year partial, and then this is the full one. What motivates people, what doesn't. It's very interesting to see, and that's in today's like labor market. Yeah. Once they hit a certain amount, some of the guys, they start dialing it back. Yeah. Versus other guys, one guy's having a baby this year, or next year, and he's locked in, pedal to the metal. He's making as much money as he can. So
that's so cool, though, eh? When you realize that, and that you can turn the knobs here and there.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see who responds to different motivations, and it's a really interesting managing like younger guys, people in the trades.
And did this, obviously with labor, there's always challenges when it comes to labor. So did this new compensation plan, did that remove most of the issues related to labor, or trying to keep labor, or is this an annual thing? Because obviously Interlock is seasonal. Yeah. So how does that work for you?
Just for the annual versus seasonal and retention
plan? Just challenges, because obviously people not showing up or not doing a subpar job, which your new compensation plan seems to have mitigated somewhat, and if in some cases is even better. So how does that work to keep the challenges low when it comes to labor? Is that
Yeah, I'm still figuring everything out because it's been just that one full year and partial year.
Okay.
It's so interesting, like people's motivations and why they do what they do. I did think that it was going to solve. I think I was a little bit starry-eyed from the trial, and I thought everything was going to be just like everything was going to be perfect. But then I saw, this guy learns he can make this much money per day, and so now he's taking 2 hours off a day because I thought, he worked 10 hours a day last year. We worked 7 to 5 and made, say, $300. Now he's making that in 7 to 3, and he's just staying at 7 to 3 because he just wants his $300. And then I was also thinking like, I'm going to get so many people who want to join because of this compensation package. No one left last year, so we downsized because people were working so much harder. I actually had to not hire people, which was a kind of a different thing. Anyone in the trades that I would say, hey, I actually laid off people and made more money this year, they would think that was really odd. Yep. So I think next year we're going to see what's going to happen because I lost some employees just due to different circumstances, not financially related. So I'm hired on a big hiring push right now. And again, I hired a guy, and this is the labor things that hired someone, great fit, good experience, showed him the whole compensation structure. He said, I'm really excited for this. I actually have a buddy. We're going to start doing this together. Worked one day and then never heard from him again. Because that side of the labor thing is still there. Where
even though the compensation plan, because you would think that offering a compensation of that nature motivates them to just go make as much money as possible. But as you've realized, everybody's motivated differently. Yeah. So I hit my money, cut off, I'm out. I'd rather work less hours. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. So what like, how did you come up with the idea of doing this? Did you see somebody else do it? Is it you just doing the math? Like what, because that's a shift, a culture shift in how you're doing things, and to have the confidence to bring it to the team. And getting the resistance and making sure that the adaptation's happening. Like, what gave you those ideas, or what prompted that to happen for you to make that decision?
The motivation was we were gonna have a baby.
And you were gonna have a baby.
Yeah, we were gonna have a baby, me and my wife.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that always changes things.
I can't supervise as much. So what will make these guys want to do their own self-supervision that they refuse to do? People love saying, so John's a micromanager. As soon as I stop micromanaging, my phone starts blowing up. What do I do? What do I do? Just solve it yourself. Yeah. So I just decided, our baby was born in May, which is landscape crazy season. And so I just made a plan that they had to do things themselves and had to figure out how to motivate them. And also, so that was the extra money per job. People talk about this, and I've talked about a lot, like owning your role, owning your project, owning this. So I was like, what an owner has is they get all the rewards, and they also get all the like difficult stress, risk, etc. So I'm putting it onto them. Now we package everything beautifully, so they have job files with highlighted pictures and dimensions and contracts and disclaimers. So they're good. They have everything they need. They have every single tool they desire, and they should be able to do everything themselves. My guys have 5, 10, 7 years experience. Like they have a lot of experience, so they knew what they were doing, and they would just always ask me anyways. They wouldn't want to talk with the customer. They want to just call me and say, what did they say? And I would say, I don't know. I didn't even do the estimate, so I can guess, or you can maybe just go ask them what they would like. So anyways, I feel like I'm kind of going in circles here.
It's good. This is good because it talks about dealing with the challenges and realizing that not everybody is motivated the same way. And I was curious to see what prompted you to find that solution.
I had heard about someone who did some pay for performance type stuff. Yeah. And I didn't know what their system was, but I thought that's a great idea. And when I did tracking for the first time, like 2 springs ago. Like not this one, but last one. And I realized one of the first things it showed me was who was terrible.
Right.
Because
the underperformers.
There's one guy who he started his own company. I think he's doing well. But in our system,
he wouldn't.
No, he never did well.
Okay.
And so I was able to say, hey, look, on this job, you barely broke even. On this job, you barely broke even. Look what other guys are doing. They're making this profit, that profit, this profit.
Is it because he wasn't as quick, or sloppy, the work quality, or?
He did not like the way we did things.
Okay.
And so he just wouldn't really work.
Okay. Well, it's a culture thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's one thing I've seen, is that some people just are better off in a different setting.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I mean, obviously, like the maintenance plans, efficiency of how all of this kind of self-corrects with that compensation plan.
Yeah.
So, and you not having, or obviously having, a child, and having your attention going there in peak season, it was interesting that's something that actually just nudged you to find that solution and make that happen. So we're all the same, eh? I listen to that, I'm like, we're all the same. Yeah. That's fantastic.
One good thing, like this happened just now. Last year, when we were on this compensation program, one of our foremen did something. He's our best guy, and it's not working out this year. And we don't offer warranty on repairs, but it's quite a lot to have broken down this fast. So normally I offer something, even though it's a repair, it's built on some other guy's base. But I just said, hey, it's yours. Decide what you want to do. If you want to wreck this client relationship and completely destroy this, then that's up to you, and we'll suffer. I'll suffer for it, or you can figure out what you want to do. So he's going to go do something, and this is kind of my recommendation. You do the first, if something's broken down really quickly, fix it once, and then document it, and then if it breaks down again, there's obviously something wrong with that. But that's great. He's got it. I didn't tell him what to do. Just gave him a couple of recommendations. It's his.
And a lot of times he'll know what to do anyways.
He's been doing this since he was 18.
Okay.
And so he knows it inside and out.
That's awesome. Because there's always there's a vicious cycle with trades, obviously, and I mean, you've highlighted a few things there. Can you expand on that? Like what else? Because obviously, with trades, we need the right people there. Mm-hmm. You need to satisfy the client. You need to be profitable. What's that? What does that look like?
It's something I'm very passionate about. Is the vicious cycle versus the virtuous cycle. I don't know if that's the right term, but maybe
that's okay. It's your term, so you can.
Which is the vicious cycle would be. Customer calls up a contractor does a bad job, doesn't call them back, etc. They maybe take a big deposit and don't perform, and the customer obviously is upset and suspicious of the next contractor, and then treats them poorly because they're worried that they're going to be ripped off again. And then that contractor, who's a nice guy, he's going to jack up the price because he thinks this person's trying to rip him off, and then it just keeps going in circles and in circles and in circles down. And that's something we see a lot of as a good contractor with 150 5-star reviews or whatever it is right now.
Yeah.
People will come to us and they don't want to give a deposit. They want to make sure that we're not going to rip them off, and they treat us poorly because of it. And so it's up to us to try to get that downward spiral up, back up.
Okay.
By being extra trustworthy, extra transparent, and all these things. But it's very difficult. And then the laborer is in there too, because the laborers usually had a rough career, maybe didn't get a good education or something for various reasons, and they're maybe stuck in a bad living situation or something. You're trying to help them help you because it's a business. And then there's all these pieces where it can easily go downhill or go uphill.
Right.
But right now, I think I see a lot of, and the shutdowns and stuff over the last few years, I think people got very much very selfish and very untrusting of other people. And it's when someone says,
you talk about the clients and the employees.
Yeah, everybody, and suppliers and everything. And so trying to be the trustworthy one and turn it around is very difficult.
Okay.
It's something I'm passionate about. But I don't know where I heard this example, but say you go and order a coffee and someone says that's $6. You don't double check. Most people don't double check the menu, look at the tax and the fee, like everything add up. They just give them the money.
Right.
You have to have like some level of trust.
Right.
But that doesn't always, and that's we need that as a society to function, just like a blanket trust. But in the trades, it feels like that's lost. Like you can't say, this is the price, and there's always a challenge or a question or I don't like it like that, or people are going in assuming you're going to rip them off, and so they're already protecting themselves.
Yeah,
so
that's tough.
We try to be very transparent. Like I said, we take pictures of everything beforehand. We highlight the areas that we're going to do. We provide a list of disclaimers, and these disclaimers are not for like covering our own butts. They're to explain this is what might happen. This is what we've seen. And we had a recent example where we said, okay, the NCMA, it's a institute that helps with interlock and different stuff, says you're not supposed to glue your wall. Retaining walls do not have glue except for the top. It's a technical thing, but we assume that's the case. If the previous contractor glued every single layer, it's going to take many extra hours to clean that off for reassembly. And so the customer said, well, I don't like that disclaimer. And it's fun. This one's funny because she said, I'm the person who installed it and I did it wrong.
Okay.
So he told us in advance, and then we worked out a deal.
Yeah.
But I had another guy who was same thing.
But those are important to know up front, because if you're looking at it from a customer standpoint, you hear all the rip-offs, obviously, and that's all they hear about, because the news, whatever, they never promote all the good things that happen for all the trades. They always that odd one that's unfortunate, and for all the right reasons. But obviously, if you're able to mitigate that at the beginning by giving them an idea of what may or may not, and be very specific, like you mentioned there, it's very specific. It's not like, if the ground is this or that. No, if there's glue and we have to take it all apart, like it's either there or it's not. So I think that's I think it's important, and as the client, then you need to know that that's the case, and then if they know and they don't have it, great. If they do, then it's there. So And you said you had another example of something similar? Or?
Yeah, same thing. Is people often on fixed incomes, they say, well, I don't want to pay that. So we said, okay. And it had to do with stuff underneath. So we said, we'll take we'll pull some stuff back and show, and let's look, and then you can decide if you want to proceed or not based on what we found regarding a specific disclaimer about buried things. Because say if we find an old oil tank in the ground, then we will adjust the price. We always offer, we can walk away and you don't have to pay us to do anything if you really just think something's, because some people can't afford it.
Right.
So we want to be respectful of that.
Pushing it.
But I have had a few people over the past few years just decide not to pay us.
Okay.
Just because they don't want to. And that's
just because they don't want to. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that scary?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to go into small claims court, but I think I have to, because
sometimes you just have to. It's or some people take advantage of you.
We always we went and spent, because this is what I mean about the vicious cycle. She was vicious, and we went and I spent a good time there chatting with her about all her questions and concerns. Sent one of my most experienced guys back to, nothing was really wrong, but some things weren't perfect. So he spent some time making everything perfect. Until she was happy, and then she said, I'm not paying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And in one of our conversations, she said, I've done this to people before. Like, I don't care. And this was before I addressed her concerns.
Wow.
And I should have known then, but I wanted we get our 5-star reviews for a reason. Everything's good. So
I say this from a business owner too. Like 150 reviews on Google is a great volume, and I laugh because you alluded to that one star that you got, and I remember years back when we started these initiatives to get reviews. I think we were at 80 or some odd reviews, and we were 5-star. And I remember sitting with a client, and he's like, he didn't believe it. He's like, nobody gets this amount of reviews. And so he was questioning the legitimacy of the reviews, which I found fascinating, because for us, we were really reaching out to our people, say you read
Yep.
review, but so that's why I find it interesting that
I don't mind the reviews.
You need the odd one,
wrong,
and sometimes it's just, listen, you're in business, you're going to encounter issues. You can't satisfy everybody. I think from your standpoint, you're trying to mitigate it from the beginning and try to minimize the risk. But I had a friend that has, they do asphalt, and at one point they did a driveway, and I guess the quote was in, I forget exactly what the width of the driveway was. So he goes in to collect his payment, and I guess the client had measured the asphalt, and they were off by like 1.5 inches or something, and he didn't want to pay, and he's like, well, that's asphalt. Like, I mean, when you lay it down, like we base it on this, but it's not like it's not like interlock. You know what I mean? It's asphalt. Anyways, long story short, he says, well, there's two things. I can put a strip of and it's just silliness at this point. And he says, no. He said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, well, rip it off and redo it. He's like, well, I'm ripping it off. So finally, he just essentially just told her, listen, if you don't pay, it's a small claims order, I come to get my asphalt back, right? And they paid, but so you get some people that just can't reason with, and it is what it is, right? So it's and then obviously, so customer, I mean, you alluded to it now, so satisfying customers and their expectations is not always easy to do. Mm-hmm. So how realistic, I mean, obviously based on your reviews, you seem to be really doing a really, really good job, but apart from mitigating it from the beginning, is there other things that you do to try to make sure that the client, is accountable to the work, and that you work towards a mutual outcome, whereas they're happy with your work, you get paid, everybody wins? Is there other things you do to try to mitigate anything going offside?
I think a good contract and descriptions and all that stuff is the basis of everything. Mm-hmm. One thing is not selling to people who don't want it. Okay. If you say that you don't really need it, and that's why I tell my sales guys, don't push something you don't think is good for them. Because we try to avoid not just a bad work, of course, but buyer's remorse. Right. We want to make sure everyone is really happy they got it done.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And then part of that is keeping the customer engaged. I say do an 80% walkthrough. Every day you should be talking to the customer, because we do mostly residential, but then 80% walkthrough before everything's finalized to make sure they're happy. Mm-hmm. I think, the good contract and just a good attitude towards them. And again, I don't mean a good contract to cover us, but to make sure they understand exactly what they want.
But it's
what they're getting.
So exactly. So there's no misunderstanding of. I mean, in your case, I'm assuming there's a lot of different details that apply. So it's important so that everybody, because you can say something meaning one thing and it's interpreted a different way. So actually having a contract, just make sure everybody is on the same page. Yeah, and again, we don't make it. I don't have a 20-page contract. It's just, I say, hey, if this in our list of disclaimers, this one's about walls and steps, and we're only doing a patio, delete those. We don't need them. We want them to actually read it and understand it. Right, and that applies to their job specifically. Yeah. Okay. One of the key foundational pieces of starting my business was reading a couple books and about different ways to set yourself apart, and one was to do a satisfaction guarantee. So I had a 100% satisfaction guarantee that I listed on my website. We gave to every single client. Eventually we stopped doing that because there are satisfaction guarantee hunters out there. Right. And that happened one too many times, where listing it attracted the wrong person who made us, they said, like the asphalt guy, we had something, it was what we call a partial repair. We don't rebuild everything. We try to make something work with the different levels and heights and steps and things because often you just want one little thing fixed and it's not going to fit in exactly right because you're not doing the whole thing. And it was not perfect. And he said, well, I'm not satisfied. I want you to rebuild everything half an inch lower. Oh, wow. Okay. So he said, you have a satisfaction guarantee. So I said, okay, we'll rebuild everything. That's abuse. From scratch. And he said, oh, you will? He was surprised. I was like, yeah, I said I would. I'm a man of my word, so we'll do it.
then he started backpedaling and saying, he's
just trying to get
a discount or something. No, we'll fix everything you asked for. So we did, and then he paid, and I haven't really heard from him since, because I think he knew he was in the wrong.
Yeah,
for
he's abusing.
Yeah, but
it's abusive. Yeah,
I still have that. We still have it internally. We just don't publish it.
Right.
So if anyone has an issue at any point, we fix it. That's a really good way to get good reviews. Is just fixing everything, no problem.
Yeah.
And we'll explain. Hey, this. Okay, one more thing that really does well is we use Slack.
Oh yeah. Okay.
On every single job, and we're gonna have about 300 jobs this year. It has its own Slack channel, and you record 3 times a day. Record photos and notes, and that's really helped when both catching mistakes, because I'll just review everything quickly, but also the customer. Like, I'm looking at from last year. No customer was told that we should do this extra work to avoid this problem happening in the future, and that's the problem he's complaining about this year. So we say, hey, actually, I think his name was Dan.
Does the client sign off on that?
The client does not sign off on that, but having a timestamp note really helps.
Right.
This guy's name's Dan too. It's like, hey Dan, we told you about this and we wanted to do it, and you declined. And we normally will say we'll give a small discount to do if you want the supplementary work done and the original problem fixed. But once someone told me, oh, you just sent this young guy to do blah 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 blah, and I had a picture in the image, like the note was a picture of my oldest guy, the most experienced guy, doing the thing that she was complaining about.
Or young.
Oldest for a landscaping company. He has a big beard. So
okay. Yeah.
And so
but that's a really
at 1:08 p.m. He was on site doing that. So maybe you were mistaken about that. No judgment there, but that's what happened.
Yeah, but that's a pretty robust way to mitigate issues.
Yeah.
So if you have a client that is up and up, then it's great, because a lot of times these things are meant to not bring you to the rabbit hole for people who would abuse you, like you said. So good on you. That's quite impressive, actually, that you go to that extent to try to document all the work and make sure that you're doing it properly. So it shows a lot of initiative in trying to do the right thing. So
it also.
And do the customers know you track these things too?
I'm actually we're looking into how you can, if there's a customer facing version that would work, but I haven't seen one yet exactly. Yeah. But what honestly, people don't like feeling ripped off almost as much as they don't like getting ripped off. Mm-hmm. So if you can explain to them exactly how something happened, then that's most of the battle.
Exactly.
It's them feel like, oh, I paid you to do this and you didn't do it.
Because I don't, and then you can't prove, but now with your documentation.
Yeah, if you can prove.
Good for you.
There was, for example, last year, there was someone who, for whatever reason, they had a patio all in one pattern, and this corner was a different pattern. And we relayed it, and we kept that original one, because it's like, oh, this is how it was, and you wanted it back the way it was. Mm. And the person was, why would you do this? Mm. Said, okay, well, here's the photo. We just were copying it as requested. You're right. We could have changed it. We could have talked with you, but that's and that calms people down. And there's just some examples I'm blanking on, but there's a lot.
No, but those are great tools to try to mitigate those issues. So
and again, it's not just about covering
as a customer,
our butt.
I love that. Yeah.
It's about helping the people understand what they're getting. And why we do things the way we do things, and all that stuff. Trying to explain everything, and keep that. It's really communication is the biggest the biggest piece between and in that whole vicious cycle thing.
We have one of our core values. It's control what you can control, and a lot of times you can't control the ground, you can't control a lot of different things, but you can control how you communicate.
Yeah.
So that's
it's like if someone calls in sick and they tell me right away. Yeah. Then I can tell the admin, hey, can you notify the customer right away? Yeah. Almost every single time a customer is upset, it's just a lack of communication. It's almost never something that was done. It's because they forget to tell them or me or something. And I've never really had a customer. Never. We've had thousands of customers. Yeah. So of course we have, but almost never had customers who complain if there's a rain day. They complain if there's no communication of the rain day.
Yeah, no, that's good. So looking ahead, where can we see Ottawa Interlock Repair in a year, 3 years, 5 years? What
on YouTube for sure.
Yeah. I think it's so funny because the YouTube videos to me they just make me laugh every time I see them.
Good.
And so good on you. Keep doing those.
But we will. I have another one planned, but my videographer is very busy, so we'll see if we get through it.
Okay.
So a few things. One is I'm trying to take this system and make it into a kind of like franchise system where they can own more and more pieces. So one of my main guys, I'm in talks with him about taking the south end of Ottawa, and he's going to that's his territory now, and he just does everything and controls everything in there. So, Barhaven, Manotick, Finley Creek, like we've divided things up and trying to make it more that way. And then he'll get greater performance and stuff-based payouts for controlling the whole area.
Okay.
So there's like some technical details of how that's going to work. So a type of franchise system or district manager system. Mm-hmm. Because it's very hard for me to have 300 jobs that I'm tracking all the time. As I'm sure you know, with having, we have 750 doors or something that
I think we'd be close to 800 by the end of the year.
Yeah. So
what we're doing, so there's always there's systems and processes always tracking everything.
Yeah, you can't have everything in your head.
No. Oh no, my gosh, no.
So that's one. The other is our commercial side of things is very small, just in terms of we have a few good commercial customers, some property managers and such, but I don't think we're we're representing ourselves well or being utilized as best we can, because I think of us more as consultants. I want to be in more of an ongoing relationship with property managers or realtors or something where they call me and say, hey, I have this house and I'd like to know what needs to be done. What do you think could be done? How much that would cost? And just kind of give advice. And then if they like that and they want to go ahead with things, then they would book us. But more of an ongoing relationship. Versus just we need this done at this time.
And it's repeat business. When you deal with companies like us, I mean, obviously the core people we deal with in most cases, we're not always going out for bids every time. It's like, okay, we have this person depending on the job, obviously, but you always have people that we rely on because they give service, the price is fair, and they get it done on time. Then that means a lot. So once you're in that core, then the repeat business is that's a really I think that's a really brilliant way to go about it for sure.
So that's the other big one.
Yeah.
And then I guess lastly would be trying to figure out what else there is, because I love business. I love expanding. Like you're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
I have some things. I do some fundraising and volunteer work with different charities. And so how we can grow in the like social events and other things that we do and participate in. And, small thing was we're doing this one event, and the decor sponsor charged an arm and a leg. So the next year I said, you know what, we're the decor sponsor, and we built all the pipe and drape, different booths and things for the whole event ourselves, and hung all the signs. And I just got my landscapers. I had a few guys who weren't working that day. I said, okay, you're going to come do it. I'll pay you. And so just different things like that. So I'd say that's kind of the third thing.
Yeah.
And then if I had to say 4 is figuring out, I have a daughter now.
Yes.
How to reduce my workload while making sure the business is able to grow without me is an ongoing thing.
We can have some good conversations about that. No, that's awesome. Hey, Jonathan, thank you for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure.
This is fun chat. I mean, we got to send you some work.
Sure, if you'd like to. We're very highly rated.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. So now I really appreciate you learning about how you got in, how you're doing things, and I think that it's interesting because the work is the work, but the business is a completely different ball of wax, and clearly you're well into that realm. So I you don't know how much I appreciate this chat. So for anybody listening in, Jonathan, what's the best way for them to reach out to you? Is it website?
Website's the best. Okay. www.interlockrepair.com.
Okay.
Super easy.
Yeah.
And then we have, I think, basically every social media there is, from TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn. So it's Interlock Repair usually.
Okay.
Interlock Repair Ottawa.
Okay.
Yep. There's one company that I had to sue, sadly, who stole my name.
Oh, no.
So if you see a company that's called Ottawa Interlock Repair, or it's Interlock Repair Ottawa, that's not us.
Okay. So Ottawa Interlock Repair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't need to go off in the dirt of that.
No, fair enough.
But
It's important.
Some people, how I found out was people would say, hey, I was talking to one of your staff and they were very rude. Well, we don't have any rude staff, so I'm confused.
Yeah.
And I found out there was another company going by our name.
That's a good thing that you heard about it.
Yeah. Yep. But www.interlockrepair.com.
Interlockrepair.com.
That's the best.
So that's awesome. And for all our audience tuning in, thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss another one of these podcasts. So I'm Dan Dore. It's been the DORE Podcast. And Jonathan, thank you for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks.